Should I also lean forward? I feel like I'm tiny.
That's part of the charm. If we bring it closer... just falls off and breaks. That's what happens.
Again, why not point it in the middle?
That is the middle.
Should we fix how it's tilted and stuff? Seem like a
Oh,
problem?
there's lots of things we should do, Lee. What do you think? We are scientists?
Isn't that?
That's worse. It's better.
Perfect!
100% better. Well, I'm willing to give a half hour of my life in hopes that it works. Alright, so let me just look for that text message where I said the premise of this show. I liked how I said it then, and I forget what I said. Right, I said...
I think we called it "What You Talking About" or "We Talking About." It's a jig of what?
We
How's
talking
you-
about...
We talking about.
Alright, welcome to the first episode of We Talking About. I'm Zim, this is Lee, and today we're talking about oddball-ass conspiracies.
All of them?
Well, I have a couple in mind, and
Alright.
I'm going to bounce them off here. We're going to see how you deal with them, how you
Sure.
perceive them, and then maybe you tell me what you think the weirdest one you've heard was. But I heard one recently, and I may be skewing a couple of the facts, but it was that Bob Marley did not die when the world thinks Bob Marley died. That in fact, in like 2005, if I'm not mistaken, they found a body in a bar. He was dead. He had some weed on him.
And a name tag, B. Marley.
Well, he was a John Doe at the moment. He would have been, 40 years older than he was, 30-something years older, what have you. But anyway, he was a man died, the John Doe. They ran the DNA for whatever reason to try to find a match, and it came back as Bob Marley. And the person that worked in the coroner's office obviously is this a prank? Are you kidding me here?
Run it again. Okay.
So he's like, but sure enough, the DNA said it was Bob Marley. He goes, and then not a few hours later, the Men in Black, as they were, come in and they tell him
Didn't see anything.
forget what you saw here. You're like, yes, that is Bob Marley, but it's not public knowledge, and it will not be public knowledge. And if you know what's good for you, you're gonna keep your mouth shut. But he, had a Hippocratic oath, and he could not tell the world.
Sure.
So what they told him was the reason that Bob Marley died when he died was he was tired of being famous, and he wanted to fake his own death.
His death.
And
Okay.
the Jamaican government said they would help him do this, but they would get to own the licenses to all his music to get the money off it. And he agreed, and he just lived as like a pauper on the streets, playing music, doing this, getting things, which doesn't make any sense to me because he's such a specific looking individual, and he apparently stayed, where he's the most famous.
And I imagine kept playing Buffalo Soldiers.
I know.
On the streets.
So that's a ridiculous statement.
What? Okay. Is that the whole theory?
That's about the extent of this theory. He did go on record to say that I forget the album in specific that the government took possession of. But he goes, "That's a damn good album."
What, the one that
the
rights he had the rights
yeah.
to or whatever? All right. So number one, you can fact check or do something right to see if does the Jamaican government actually have the rights to the Bob Marley song? Is that a thing that happened after he died? Quotes?
I never looked into it because the first
that you
part
could
is
check,
so
right?
stupid.
Well, I'm just saying, that part you could check.
We could certainly check.
One could check before one decided to promote this as a conspiracy theory. Part two, I guess. So the Jamaican government did all this. There's not
Allegedly.
It isn't like the CIA.
It's not the CIA. It's the JIA.
So where did
the Jamaican Intelligence Agency?
So did this all happen? Where did you say? Where was this in Jamaica?
This is in Jamaica. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Jamaican doctor.
Uh-huh.
It's a Jamaican DNA test. Do they have that shit there?
I don't think they're the third world, but this story is Jamaican me crazy.
They're like second or first and a half world, though.
I'm sure they have main cities and this and that.
Like getting a DNA test run in like Chicago.
I'm sure there's
like
there's 6 people on DNA, and one of them is Bob Marley.
That was why I was. Most things come back as Bob Marley, to be perfectly honest.
But yes, that's one of the most outrageous
things
I'd heard recently.
The other part is that I don't think that the men in Jamaican black would have told the doctor
exactly
the background. That seems like
they would have shot him, taken the body, and been done.
If they really had to even keep the secret, but at that point, when he dies, just be like, yeah, weird, we did this thing, I'm writing a book. Like, just like, why even cover that up?
It's too many layers of dumb for me to believe it.
What's the big lie there, yeah.
But you know, as far as conspiracies go, it's an interesting one. I've heard
a fun one.
I've heard some fun, crazy stuff.
Do people like it because that means that he was alive that whole time and it's cool? Is that helping if you're a Bob Marley fan?
You know, Elvis didn't die; he just went home.
Wouldn't you feel bad though if you liked Bob Marley and Bob Marley abandoned you and like whatever? Like, why do people like this conspiracy theory?
I don't know. It's not a very good one. It's just outlandish, and that's what I like about it. It's a crazy theory.
I always like to try to find the motivation, the reasoning behind a conspiracy theory, though.
To sell a newspaper, I'm sure.
Oh, is that how this? Is that where this like originates? Is that the deal?
I heard it secondhand.
A lot of conspiracy theories satisfy a need for us to have certain feelings and all that shit. Mm-hmm. We'll probably get to that if we discuss more of these, which I feel like you're about to do.
I've got more for you if you'd like. So this one I enjoy a lot, actually. This one is the legend of Old Hitler. So Old Hitler was a giant shark.
Oh, I thought you were going in all human record.
No. But it's Nazi related. So the Nazis, in an attempt to break the American touristry income, released a gigantic shark off Miami's coast. Now this shark...
Hold on. One shark?
One single shark.
Okay.
But he was
a Nazi.
So the Nazis, as you may or may not know, were into some weird shit.
Oh, yeah.
So like this was some like Frankensteinian, like, you know, paranormal fuckified shark, and he was like, you know, like genetically altered to kill.
They kept feeding him Jew sharks just until he got so big and strong.
He's supposed to, as they say, have a swastika on his fin. So when he's swimming above hand, you know, he's like, you know, hailing the Reich or whatnot. But
what year did Jaws come out?
73?
Okay, so that's probably not... I'm trying to figure out why they would think
what came first, Old Hitler
I'm trying to figure out why the Nazis would have assumed that
Real quick.
could reliably
did you really think, though, the Nazis could have seen Jaws and been like,
so
das Leben essen Sharks?
No. So in my head, I'm like, the only reason you would think that people could reliably see that fin so often and so prominently would be had you seen one of the greatest movies ever made, Jaws, where that was what they were doing there. Because I don't think obviously maybe you see a fin from time to time, but I don't feel like it's to the same degree as in the movie Jaws. So that's it.
No,
that's a hilarious detail of the conspiracy theory, because I'm sure that the theory came after Jaws came out, and that's why that's an element of it, right?
I believe, as it was explained, it was something that like people did see, like fishermen did.
Yes,
did
but
say
not,
they saw this, and it would have had to have been around. It would have had to have been around World War II. I don't think they saw it like in the 80s, and they were like, "Oh, Hitler."
Well, no. Like they would have done it during the war, I assume. Right?
Yes.
When it actually happened,
it would have been like, "All right, the Japanese, you attack Pearl Harbor, we'll release a shark, and we're going to take down their."
Exactly. I just feel like whoever came up with this conspiracy theory to like float it out there, that particular detail might have slipped in there as a result of like because you will think of Jaws and that like shark fin or whatever.
You think Spielberg started this one?
Yes, to promote the movie.
Years, he's like, that was a long con.
So it had the swastika on the fin to adorn it as a
so
Nazi
you knew
shark.
you weren't getting killed by a random shark. You were getting killed by a racist shark.
Yes.
But that's pretty much the extent
of that
legend.
Okay.
There's not a whole lot to it.
I thought I was cutting you off.
But it is. Okay. It's just a fun, crazy.
So why do people think this happened? Were there sightings of a swastika on a fin?
Allegedly,
is that how this came about?
People saw it on the thing, and I think it was something that like Hitler was fucking around with trying to do, like, genetically
Okay.
alter this and that. And, like, there was that whole thing where he was trying to
Yeah.
bring back that type of bull that used to live in Germany. Do you remember this? There was something like the Hell Bull or something that, like, he was trying to breed steers with to blah, blah, and, like, they do
Yeah.
now exist again, I believe, in quotes. Like, some farmer has, like, 10 of them or something. But I don't know too much about that
I know
shit.
they were trying weird stuff where where it was like, this doesn't make any sense, this won't work, and they were like, why though? Maybe just no one's ever tried it, and they were trying weird scientific bullshit.
Well, he
or
was
something
deeply
like
into the
that.
occult and ridiculous
Yeah,
shit.
They thought they could summon
And I
things.
love that. I love it so much.
That's an important detail in a lot of sci-fi whatever movies, fantasy type movies that we like.
So do you have any crazy things you want to talk about? Because I can list another one.
Most conspiracy theories that I get into are just those mundane ones that you hear all the time. Cause
No,
they
just
usually,
completely ridiculous, ludicrous.
nothing I can come up with off the top of my head, I don't think.
So the next one I have is this
ponder
one's the
that.
most fact-based.
Okay.
But it's still, there's a twist of craziness. So do you know what the furthest man-made object into space is?
Voyager 2?
Now, I'm glad you said that. Why do you think that?
Because of the Star Trek movie?
Okay. So, would it interest you to know that we actually went into space years before we ever had, any rockets aimed at the sky?
Okay.
So, during early nuclear tests, we fired we detonated a nuclear missile deep in a shaft, and this shaft was covered by a big, like 2-ton metal mantle cover, just to see what it would be like. We wanted to detonate it underground.
Okay.
So when they detonated this nuclear warhead down what they called the Thunder Well, the manhole cover launched into space. So this was like 1932 or some shit.
Yeah.
And we launched what most would say, and by most I mean crazy people, the first thing into space, which is because of how space works, it will just keep going and keep going.
Why is that crazy, though? That makes
Well, we
perfect
don't actually
sense.
know it went into space.
Where'd it go?
It could have just flew 100 yards into the other direction. I don't think we didn't have the technology, I don't think, to track it.
Has it ever been found?
No.
Do we think it was destroyed in the blast?
It could have been. It could have just been vaporized, but it could be the first thing in space. And I do have a nice little thing I wanted to do if I ever came into enough money to do an alien attack movie, where I would love that we initiated a war with a foreign galaxy because we launched this thing and it just went right into oh no, their technology blocks lasers, but our solid piece of metal just cuts through their shield and just ripped apart the mothership. Yeah, and they tracked it back down to Earth, and then we're at war.
I like that. And then because they EMP everything, the only way we can fight them is to detonate nuclear bombs and throw more metal into space to kill them. Spent uranium chunks.
Wait, that's the story of the Thunderwell.
Now those are some crazy, deep conspiracy theories. The only stuff that I ever got into was like, these days the Earth is flat is a big one or whatever.
The Earth might be flat.
Yeah, I don't believe that to be true. But I don't like the attitude of a lot of the people debunking stuff. People are very snarky and shit like that. Because
well, that's my biggest issue with most conspiracy theories. When people take something as fact, that I'm like, you can't actually know that fact firsthand.
No. Like, you can, there's, centuries of scientific research and knowledge and bullshit and all that stuff. But a lot of the people that make YouTube videos just sort of laugh at people.
Yeah.
They just sort of high-five and say, look at how stupid they are for saying that the Earth is flat. And I'm like, no. Take a step back and, walk through all the shit. Because, I'm not a professional scientist, but I'm sort of like an engineer, and I'm a science enthusiast, but I couldn't sit down and break down all the points for you. It'd be nice if someone would calmly do that. That Neil deGrasse Tyson video.
Oh, drop the mic, walk away, B.O.B., you an idiot. That was a dumb video.
I thought it was really dumb, and I thought he had a great opportunity there to really actually sit there with charts and bullshit.
He
and
made,
be like,
I think it was 4 points, but 2 of those points were the same. Millennium.
I barely watched it. Yeah,
like
I was
what?
Just like, oh.
And like one of his points,
I hate shit like
one of
that.
his points wasn't even a scientific point. It was just like, you're too dumb to understand why you're so small that you can't see the curvature of the Earth. And I was like, that's not a fact. Like you can't come at somebody with science if you're a man of science.
No, and like they're trying to like go. So like they see the like we never landed on the moon. There is no space station. The Earth is flat stuff. And they go, this is ridiculous. This person's way off base. He has a rudimentary understanding of all this shit. Let me go down to his level. And like that's their like attitude is like I have to like reduce my arguments to something the idiots can also understand. But I'm hip. I'm cool. I'll do something to like fight him. Yeah, but that's just like don't do that. That's the opposite of what you should do. You should and like I really do want Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, 5 other people to sit in like a room like this, play the clip that the YouTube video guy said, look, this is the thing in the shadow is wrong, and have them all go, oh no, that's because of this, that's because of that, hold on, and like figure it out and like talk about it. And maybe half of them go, I don't know, that shadow does look kind of weird. Like honestly, like respond like bit by bit to it. It's very frustrating.
Just too much of so many of the people that are like, so like there's someone who debunks and someone who proves it right.
Yeah.
The people that are proving it right, so the guy who's proving it wrong only has to put a doubt in your head. But the guy who's proving something right has to drop all the science in the world to convince me that that is right. Like, and they always seem to start off with like step 3 in a solution. And what I mean by that is like, it's like, okay, so the first step is we have the number 2, and then the second step is we have another number 2, and write them together, and that 2 plus 2 equals 4. And they always pick up from 4. And like you're like, why do you think 4? Like you could not have if you don't tell me how you came up with the first step, or have a way that I can prove it myself. And that's another issue with many conspiracies. There's no way any individual person generally has the means or ability to prove anything. They're taking a lot at face value. And when you're taking anything at face value, it could be a lie.
I know. That's why a lot of stuff that they have conspiracy theories about is stuff where, because I wasn't there that day. I didn't see the thing happen. But that's true of like a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I usually take the opposite approach, where the person who's trying to tell me that we didn't land on the moon, they have to prove everything to me. Just putting a doubt in my head, because you could put a doubt in my head about what happened on my 13th birthday party.
But that's good. Doubt is good.
But I have no reason to believe that like my mother is lying about what happened on that day, unless you know what I mean. Like there has to be something, because
I assume everyone's lying, and I need you to prove it to me.
But then you can't be sure of anything.
I'm not sure of almost anything.
But that's what I'm saying. So like the Kennedy assassination is no more.
Oh, that's bullshit.
No. but it's no more or less special than any other day that. In any other place.
It
just
is
so
for
happens
me because the lies
bigger.
were so apparent in the JFK assassination.
Pretend I picked a different example that would allow me to finish what I was
Franz Ferdinand, the Archduke?
Say.
I got problems with that one too.
The point is that you could pick any day, any place on Earth where like none of us were there that day, and we just have people telling us what happened, and these stories don't add up, it seems, and I'm going to research, and you could find weird shit and shit that doesn't add up with a lot of shit, and I think a lot of that gets swept together with some legitimately questionable things about some of these things to create a lot of conspiracy where there might only be like a little doubt that might be explainable through certain people lying or certain, like mistakes and things that would kind of make sense without the crazy leaps that people go to where they create shadow organizations.
There's definitely a lot of crazy leaps. But my thing is just that, like, question everything. And, like, again, you can never get the real answer for many things, but enough things lay together where I'm like, okay, that's probably true, and this is probably true. But there's a lot of shit where I'm just like, nope, I don't buy it. And, like,
sure.
Like, I watched a lot of those documentaries on like, Flat Earth and not going to space and stuff, and some of those arguments were very convincing. And I'm not going to say, again, that I believe this or that, but a lot of shit I question is because I'm like, that looks so fake, or that's so wrong, or your answer is so bullshit, or that guy got tripped up so hard. Like, why did he say that? And again, people make mistakes, this and that happens, weird things happen. We've made movies, we see optical illusions happen in film and this and that. But honestly, some of that is just like where I'm like, oh, I know that mistake. We did that mistake. That's what they're doing right there. That's like,
Oh, in like what's being presented as a real thing. Sure.
Yeah, and a lot of space shit is fake. Like, just
I don't know. I've never seen anything that's made me like stand up and go like, wait a minute. You know, it's always been like, I guess maybe. It's always been that sort of level.
Oh no, there
for
was
me.
no with the space stuff. There was
Like,
no silver bullet. There was no one thing that I was like, this is it. But it
Yeah.
was so much shit. Like where it'd be like, well, that looks fake, or her hair is just sprayed up, or this blah blah. And like it's like
Yeah.
any of those one things, I'd be like, oh, I don't know, I wasn't there. I don't know how that works. But when you put all these little things together, I'm like, it's just three midgets on top of each other. That's not a tall guy.
It's just
like,
3 minutes in a coat trying to go to space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my thing with that.
I require something to push you over some sort of edge or whatever, because I do agree that her hair looked weird, and that might be explained by several other things before you get to there is no space program.
Well, no, it's not. It's not
you know
just
what I mean?
the. Like,
I know.
And we'll take a whole
Yes.
separate day, and I can go into a
Yes.
whole lot of shit. But there's so many things where you're like, oh, yeah, that's fake.
No, but like, you know, if something
It's
looks,
no old Hitler, but
It's
no smoking gun like old Hitler. But I'm working on it.
aliens are coming to Earth to get vengeance from that metal slug that we fire into the nuclear.
You know what I want to know?
wasteland or whatever.
So this is a slight off topic, but you mentioned aliens, and it hooked my mind to a way. So the
Sigourney
new
Weaver.
Independence Day is coming out,
Yeah.
and Will Smith is not in it, but the
Everyone
black
else
character
is, right?
of the movie is Will Smith's son, not in real life, but in the show or in the movie, who used to be Little Nicky in the Will Smith show, not Little Nicky Adam Sandler. I know what you were thinking.
Popeye's chicken is fucking awesome.
So his little cousin played his stepson or son or whatever in Independence Day, the first one. And I want to know, because I've not seen that kid in forever, and I don't think that's the same kid, but I would love it if it's the same kid. Thoughts?
Who? Little Nicky in what? Fresh Prince?
Fresh Prince, yeah.
Who's Little Nicky in Fresh Prince?
In like the later seasons, Uncle Phil and the newer Aunt Viv
did they
had another kid.
They added a kid. Oh, the
and
fucking...
that was Little Nicky.
the old sitcom maneuver.
Yes. So
Oh my
Little
God.
Nicky...
Little Nicky or Little Richie?
Little Richie is from Family Matters, you racist.
What? No, I don't think I was still
Rachel just left the show and left Little Richie, and 3J, the adopted kid from down the street.
I have no memory.
You can't read, you memorized that basketball card. Get him, Urkel.
I have no memory of the Little Nicky character. I don't think I was watching Fresh Prince at that time.
Well, he played the son.
But you're hoping that that's the same
Yeah,
guy?
I meant to fact check it and look it
Sure.
up, and it made me question the whole
I
thing.
feel like I would have heard about that.
I also think that kid's
Would've been
doing
some
nothing.
goofy- I would say he's
He had a
probably...
very specific head, and he looks different now, so I don't think it's the same
No,
kid.
he's probably... Not everyone who's a kid in like a thing ends up being even an actor of any kind.
Oh, but what made me
Could
think
be
it
a
was
sad
possible,
thing.
in the fact that they don't look anything alike, was that he seemed like a very bad actor, and the kid was a kid, so he wasn't very good. And I was
Yeah.
like, if they were just trying to get some continuation here, because so many characters were in that movie that were in the original, that I was like, it's possible.
How does that trailer... I've not watched the actual trailer. I saw some
Oh, it's
like...
bad looking. It
Really?
looks bad. Yeah, it looks bad.
What is your opinion about the original movie?
I loved it.
Okay.
The original's great.
So, a lot of people on the...
Our Independence Day.
That speech fucking... A lot of people on the internet are basically saying, like, yeah, I mean, the first one was a guilty pleasure. It was a fun popcorn flick. I don't know about the next one. And this is like... It's happened several times for things that you and I enjoy, where I'm like, a guilty pleasure? What are you talking about?
that's pleasure.
This is a pleasure. This is just pure pleasure. This is amazing. What do you mean? I have no idea why, and I haven't watched it in like a couple years. I don't know if you have.
I
but
think
I feel
I've
like
seen
the
it.
original movie was great. Yeah.
I've probably
30
seen
times?
it like, I was gonna say like
Like-
30 times.
Yeah.
Solidly, like whenever it came on TV, it would be
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm watching that.
No, it was
'cause
on.
that's a thing.
It was on TV a lot, and it was one of those movies where you would just like wherever you came in, you would just watch till the
Yeah.
end because you had to. I don't see what the problem is.
No,
There's
no,
certain-
that's a good movie.
There are certain things that
Welcome to Earth.
yeah, and there are certain things that are dumb, but there are a lot of things that are cool. And there's a lot of things that are good, even though they're dumb. Like I don't see what the people are like. Oh, it fucking is a Mac computer and uploads a virus with stupid things, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what are you gonna do? Whatever, fine.
The
Whatever.
fat lady. You're obsessed with the fat lady. Jack
Ooh,
Goldblum's great.
Oh, yes. Again, without the oops. It's like, oh, God, fucking someone
Ah,
just
someone.
flips it around, all that shit. That shit's gold as fuck. They had a great chemistry. The whole cast. That fucking dude at his, where do you work? Cable something? Newspaper? Oh no, the aliens are coming.
Yeah, yeah.
That guy, whatever.
I know him as Robin Williams' brother
Yeah,
from oh no! What the hell's that movie called?
Birdcage?
No, not Birdcage, you son of a bitch. It was a Run by Fruiting. What the hell's that? Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, I gotcha. His brother? It was his brother?
That was his brother. He's like,
I know he, like, helped him with the
Charlie,
makeup and stuff.
make me a woman. I've been waiting years for you to say that.
Guy's great. I guess all the characters...
He died, I think.
Yeah, he stayed in the office or whatever, right?
No, I meant in life.
Oh. Yeah, he stayed in the office.
That was reality, right?
I guess that was a documentary. It happened in real time.
Yeah.
Bill Pullman saved us all. He's in the new one, right?
Yeah, everyone
Yeah.
except for Will Smith, I believe, is in there. And they're saying he died.
But the new one looks bad.
It looks bad. It just looks like they're just like, it's a cash grab, which everything seems to be nowadays. You know,
A new Independence Day with an all-female cast.
Yeah, that might have been something. Nah, just like, you know, we've had X amount of years. It's real time from the first one to adapt their technology. Our like planes are flying like their planes. We're shooting lasers.
Yes, I saw like a teaser.
Like
I think,
they're like
that part.
oh, the mothership is touching down over the Atlantic. Which part? All of it. Like it's just this gigantic thing, and there's like walker creatures.
Oh, we saw a trailer in the theaters before we saw something like a month or two ago.
Maybe.
Because I remember like sitting next to you, which never happens, and being like, a ship that big would like not work. It doesn't make any sense. You couldn't hover.
They say at one point
is like not.
It has its own gravity, and like buildings are coming up, and then it turns off its gravity, and they all fall or something.
That's even dumber.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like an impossibly big ship that would have trouble like getting close to Earth without something happening or whatever.
About the Earth like coming into it.
But I guess they're like doing that. I don't know. Fuck.
It doesn't look good, so it doesn't matter.
Do I want it to be good? I don't even know.
A conspiracy that it's good.
A theory that it could not be shit. Is what's his name?
The guy from Taxi.
Danny DeVito?
Yes. Do I look suspicious?
Do I look suspicious? Get her. Beep.
Rum ham.
No, I got a gun in the basement. What are you doing? No, what?
Come on, DeAndre, my cock-ring fellow.
I haven't thought of his name yet. I
can't think of his name in real life. The guy, right? The dad?
It might be. He's someone's father. I'm back! And
no.
I'm thinking of James Randi.
No.
Randy Newman.
No.
From Getting Closer, right?
Randy is in it, I'm pretty sure.
Fuck.
His brother is
that guy.
Hang on. Randy Quaid.
Quaid! Howdy, Quaid!
He's not in it because he's an insane person in real life.
He's really crazy.
And he dies in the first one.
That's true.
So he's not in the sequel. But that white-haired doctor is the one that like had his neck grabbed. I'm like, he's alive?
That's Lieutenant Commander Data. That's Brent Spiner.
I thought he was dead as shit.
He should be dead too. Plus, there could have been flashbacks. Randy Quaid totally could have been in this one.
They should have had his kids in it. His kids
are going to be in it? Yeah.
No, they're not going to be in it.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Why not?
Because they're barely people.
They're not real people. They were just
They've
child
never acted
actors.
again in their life.
They've never acted, period.
Yeah, they were actually the sorest point of that movie.
There's probably...
Dad, no!
There's probably a lot of scenes in that movie, if you rewatch it, that are going to be cringy and painful.
I love when she's like, Skipper, or whatever the fuck the dog's name is, and he jumps and like the fire's just coming through.
And it's like After Effects fire render preset tilted and just...
Vivica A. Fox, tilt it, move.
Vivica A. Fox render, pre-render Vivica A. Fox goes through here. And who dies? The First Lady dies, right?
First Lady dies,
Of like injuries or whatever?
First Lady dies, the White House gets destroyed, 1 million people on top of like the Sears Tower or something get fucked.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie.
What's wrong with
I wonder if it holds up.
Probably not.
We'll try.
Does it hold up? Flawless segue.
Yeah. All right, so that's our episode here. We talking about. Those are the things we talked about. Until next time, we talk about other things. I picked the topic this week. Lee, you pick the topic next week. Think about that.
I can't.
And as always, don't die in a fire. Dun, 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 dun.